Can we talk about art for a second? More specifically, can we talk about the meaning of art? I mean, what is art? You know, I see all kinds of art in the world that I live in. Everything from abstract to realism to surrealism. And now, questionably, the AI, artificial intelligence generated art, which I think is just kind of a reproduction of art that exists already, because AI is just basically working from information that it's learned from the data sources of the world. No, I'm talking about art that is made with these, even hands that are a little bit arthritic. I'm talking about art that is made with these hands, and not through some kind of technological override. You know, I'm not even talking about any specific art made with these. I'm talking about cartoons or oil paintings. I'm talking about charcoal, pencil drawings. I'm talking about the art that comes from, you know, the creative mind, the process that is inside of this brain that we have, and comes from this heart that we have. And when you shut out all of the other elements that cloud into art, like the money of art, both the money to produce it and the money that's made from it, however small or large that is. And I do mean clouds art, because when you bring the money element into it, that is something that just totally, it intimidates art, and it influences art, and it moves art in directions that is not natural. Of course you need money to survive as an artist. Of course you need to make money. You got to eat. You got to pay the bills. And that is a given. But can you produce art somehow without thinking about all the other stuff? That's, to me, that's a mature place in art. That not everybody gets to that place. Well, do you have to be mature to have a mature view of art? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You can have a true artistic conviction even at a very young age. I know people my age or older who have been at art for a long time, who, for example, they fall into a trap. They paint a cow, and they paint that cow really well, and that cow sells. So they paint another cow and another cow and another cow, and they develop this niche or this career painting the cow, and they make a lot of money from the cow. But when they try to alter that path, when they try to do something that isn't the cow, there's no demand for it. And they'll rationalize that whole thing by saying they are a brand. They've created a brand, and there are many established artists in brands who really defend the idea of proliferating the brand because the cow sells. But then you're not an artist, in my view. Then you have dismissed artistic creativity because you're chasing the dollar. Well, I think, for example, what about the artists who paints in oils for a long, long time, or watercolors, or whatever their medium, a sculptor, what if they deviate from that path and try something not in their normal field of excellence? And what if a sculptor becomes a wood carver, or becomes whatever, a charcoal drawing artist for a little while? And what if that feels great? And what if that artist is able to do some beautiful work, or work that makes people think? What if that artist is motivated by everything and anything except money, and it's really all about creating? So they enjoy those deviations from that brand that they've been doing for a long time. It happened to me, in 2007. I spent the first 35 years of my life as a watercolor painter, and I won't say I got bored of it, but I wasn't challenged anymore. And I had 2 years off that I just didn't paint anything. And through a series of events, I became a painter of oil landscapes, and I really, really liked it. It really challenged me to the core. It really motivated me, and I embraced it with every ounce of my energy. And it became this career. But I want to say, I truthfully never ever felt that I was bound by painting a tree or a river. Or for a little while there, I did some portraits, not very well, mind you. I did okay, but I wasn't bound by portraits. I wasn't bound by pet paintings or anything. I painted whatever I felt like painting because it was where my heart was. I want to say that there were lots of times that were pretty lean, where I didn't make any money at all. It was really hard. And while I've never gone hungry or homeless, I may have come brutally close to it on a number of occasions, but I was always true to my own heart to do the thing that I really felt needed to be done as an artist. Not to sell my soul. And I think when you're an artist who sells your soul, what happens is you give up your passion. You give up that part of yourself that does it for love, and the doing it for every other reason takes over, and your soul leaves you. And if you're going to do something over and over again in any artistic mode, well, you may as well be working on an assembly line somewhere, because that's the state of your creative process. It dies. I mean, I'm standing in front of the most awesome graffiti art wall in the town where I live, and I'm just astounded at the level of artistic skill on this wall. It's just incredible. And for any one of these artists to think that they could never do well in graffiti art, today graffiti art has become a widely accepted and sought after skill. Some of these graffiti artists are world famous rock stars in the world of graffiti art. It's just incredible, and I applaud them, because not even 30 years ago this sort of thing was considered a scourge on society, a scourge on the side of buildings that rebels did, and they did it for no money whatsoever. But because the passion was there, they continued to do it. I'm certainly not a graffiti artist, but I certainly love what I see, and I apply the same soul and passion to the paintings that I paint. I mean, don't you? What do you think? Should an artist brand themselves? Or should an artist be branded? I know galleries love when artists paint the same thing over and over again, because they can just milk that artist for all they got and keep getting cow paintings over and over again. But what about us who follow our heart? Brand or no brand? Heart or no heart? Creative painting or assembly line painting? Which do you think it should be? I really want to know. Talk to me in the comments. I always reply. And I want to hear your thoughts.